Well, good morning, viewers. So I've obtained a previously enjoyed ABS control assembly, and looking at how they engineered this thing, they should be shot. The module is bolted to the bottom of the ABS unit, and the module assembly sits on a bracket. So I'm going to have to undo hydraulic lines to get it in there. I was hoping that I could just unbolt this from the bottom. But I'm going to take the bracket off of this so it takes up less room and connect it to the vehicle so that it can be programmed. A new one is on back order with no estimated ETA. I did find one on Rock Auto. It is available from Rock Auto for about 450 Canadian plus shipping. And a new one here is 650 Canadian. But again, it's on back order and they got no ETA. So we're going to try and take these lines off and take the bracket off so that I can get it in there temporarily. This should be bolted onto the bottom of the EHCU because it is serviced separately. But let's see. So I decided I would let this thing run, and I've got those two CAN bus wires jumpered. And I started it up and it was running and idling fine while I was taking the bracket off that ABS pump, and it stalled. And then there was a bunch of relays clicking. So I'm going to start it again and see what happens. Because theoretically the ABS module is out of the network now, so it can't be compromising the network. No crank. Well, let's see if we got communication with the ABS or communication with the ECM. It won't crank. Let's put the battery charger on it so it doesn't go flat. This could be a good thing. Because it may mean that I don't need the ABS module. That communication wake-up signal won't support the load from a 194 bulb, but it may. And it tested good, and it tested basically the same at the VCM. But let's connect the scan tool to it and see what communication we have. So I predict it's not going to communicate with the ECM and pull the VIN. No, it did. But then again, sometimes this thing will just start working again. Let's check, see if we got communication with the ECM. Read fault codes. Immobilizer key incorrect. So there's definitely a communication between the BCM, and of course we got lost communication with the BCM. So this immobilizer key code is current. Let's try starting it one more time. No, won't crank. Well, let's go back and see the network scan and see what if we don't have communication with any other module. Fuel pump control, transmission control. Of course, we won't have EBCM because we've got that bypassed. Parking brake control. Power steering control. What about the BCM? Watch HCM again. Immobilizer functions are in the BCM if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see what this one is. Headlamp control, we don't have that. Keyless entry control module, we do have that. Let's try and see if the keyless entry works. I'm sure it's got keyless entry. Yeah. Pushing the buttons and nothing's happening. He's got both key fobs on the keychain here, trying a different key. I'm repeatedly started it. Now it's communicating again. Now it's running again. So that doesn't make sense. It can't be the EBCM causing the problem because it's out of the network now, but there's still a problem with the EBCM. Shoot. Oh boy. Let's see if we got communication with the keyless entry module now. No, unless that doesn't exist on this vehicle. Front seat heating, we don't have that. Parking assist, I don't believe we have that. So let's go into the So now this is passed and failed. Oh brother, the plot thickens. Well, this is what happens when a mechanic sleeps with an engineer's wife. There's the module bottom on the ABS unit. I can see a retaining screw in that hole there, but there's no access to it unless it's through this bolt here. Maybe the two bolts that hold the motor down hold the module in place. It looks like way. That one there, that one there, because there's no screws on the bottom of this thing. I'm going to try removing one of these bolts and see if it goes right through to the module. That might be good because we might be able to fish it out of there. But I'm going to plug this module into the ABS harness and see if we have communication. And if we do, I'm going to try programming it to the vehicle. I'm pretty sure I could program a used module on this vehicle, but I'm not 100% certain. And you'll see the damn car is running perfectly fine again now. So there's the used ABS module assembly. I didn't take the module off the EHCU. I'm going to turn the key on now and try and scan it. We should have communication with the ABS module now. So I didn't try to start it, I just want to scan it. We had communication with 12 computers before, but no EBCM. So we got communication with it now and codes in it. I have to look at my previous video, though. There's more modules talking now than there was before. Let's see the report. Lost communication, that's lost communication. Incorrect immobilizer identifier received malfunction. This multi-axis acceleration sensor is CAN bus through another network to the BCM, so that's why we had no communication with it as well. Let's clear all codes. And rescan. Yeah, we didn't have communication with this multi-axis acceleration sensor module because that's CAN bus to the EBCM, if I'm not mistaken. Although on this topology map it shows it's on its own network. What do we got in here? Incorrect immobilizer identifier received. Lost communication with steering wheel angle sensor module malfunction. So this module here, steering wheel angle sensor malfunction. CAN bus communication problem. But we do have communication now with the EBCM, so that was definitely the problem. I'm going to try and flash program it using GMSPS. I got to get set up for that now. It's going to be more drama. Well, that's usual drama. Log in, renew the password, wait for a validation email, download the software. Wow. So I'm finally connected to the vehicle. I'm using a GM MDI2. Yes, I want to use one of my VIN slots. Got a battery charger, a clean battery charger set at 13.6 volts. Now I may not be able to complete the configuration because, oh, that's beautiful. So is it that you can't program a used BCM? Build data and or XML file missing. Well, let's try again. So E4491, reprogramming error, check all connections and reset programming interface. Unknown programming error 5 at step 0. Well, let's do that. So I got the same ECU configuration, event failed after resetting the interface. And I'm sure we're going to get the same error code. Now, is it a problem with the vehicle because I still may have a network issue, although terminating resistance looks good and CAN bus communication looks normal. Or is it a problem with the fact that I'm trying to reprogram a used EBCM? I know I did it on a full-size truck of about the same vintage, 11 or 12, and it worked fine. But this one is turning out to be different. That's just like GM. Make it VIN specific. So I tried resetting the tool, and this time I selected programming instead of replace and program. Let's see if it'll start programming now. Come on, download. GM server seems awful slow today. These are not big files, shouldn't take that long to download. You got a Starlink connection, it's pretty quick. It's making dinging like noises in the car. Retrying one. I don't like that. Retrying two. Third time's a charm, maybe? Says complete, but did it program? That seems awful fast. Error 4491, unknown programming error. Well, I got to do some more research. Oh joy. Well, I decided I would try this GoDiag tool that I bought several months ago for the first time. And I've connected power to pins 1 and 25. Pin 13 is ground. Pin 8 is a wake-up signal. Pin 9 is CAN low in, and pin 11 is CAN high in. And pin 10 and 12 are the CAN bus circuit. So first I turned the ignition on, the power unit on, battery power and ignition, and I had this kind of a signal on my CAN bus signal. So I put a 60 ohm resistor at the end of the network on pins 12, 10 and 12, and we've got a good looking CAN bus signal. Let's see if we can talk to it. Read fault codes. DTC display. Going to have a bunch of DTCs. Lost communication with steering angle. Right wheel speed sensor. Left wheel speed sensor. Okay, so we can talk to it. Data stream. So we've got communication with it, and I'm going to set up SPS now to see if I can program it, bench program it. I theoretically should be able to, seeing as how we can talk to it. That would take the vehicle network out of the equation. And if I still can't program this used EBCM, then maybe it's just not possible. But we'll see. Or there's a defect in the EBCM. I still got the same VIN number open on service programming. We'll see if it'll actually. Let's go replace and reprogram. and then next. And let's go to electronic brake control module. Configuration first, and then next. There was an issue retrieving the VIN slot status. Yeah. Because the VIN in this module, well, I'm not even sure if there is a VIN number in this module. I'm sure there is, though. Let's see what it says. You would think, I guess it has to validate the VIN number as part of the service programming sequence. I'm going to screw around a bit more. So I've reconnected to the vehicle just to pull the VIN and validate the VIN. I might have been able to manually enter the VIN, but let's try. I'm going to get to the point where it says validating it's going to use one of your VIN licenses. So I'm going to go to replace and reprogram, and then next. Electronic brake control module. Configuration. Next. Should give me the message about using up a VIN slot. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to move the VCI to the bench tester. So we're going to see what happens now. And I click proceed. There's all kinds of variables here, used parts, problem in the vehicle. So either this used controller cannot be reprogrammed or it's defective. But it does communicate with the ECU, so we do need a new controller. I'm going to discuss it with the customer, and I'm going to try and see if I can get that one from Rock Auto. That one would be the most obvious way to go, because the local dealer says they're on back order with no promise. So I'm looking at data out of this used DBCM, and one of the module information, it gives me the VIN number, and that's a 2014 Chevy Cruze. I called the dealer and I gave them that VIN number and asked them if the module was the same part number, and it's not. It depends on the brake option. It could be, but it depends on the brake option. So I need to know what RPO code brake option this Verano has. This one has J60, but the original part number for the Verano is 13385430, and this one is 13384018 with J60 brakes. GM used to have an RPO code list in the trunk, but I don't see it. So it's in the glove box, and according to the RPO code list, it has J60 and J71, but nevertheless, according to GM, the part number is 13385430. So I'm going to see if I can source that one from Rock Auto, because I can't get it from the local dealer here. I'm 99% sure we need a module, but I'm not 100% sure that that's going to fix the drivability symptoms. So I'm going to try again. I found and sourced another ABS module assembly for a 15 Verano, and got the VIN number and checked with the dealer, and that requires the same part number, 5430. According to the RPO code list, this car has J60 and J71, but it has another option too that might not be applicable to the Cruze, some stability control system. So according to the dealer, this VIN number takes the same one, so I'm going to try that because the alternative is a $700 part from Rock Auto by the time I get it shipped to Canada.